Welcome to the Texas Show. My name's Kris Holden-Reid.
I'm Zoie Palmer.
You might know us from such shows as Lost Girl, The Guard.
The Guard. That's right.
Well, we don't really know what to do with this, so
Yeah.
why don't you tell us? What should we do?
Yeah.
Should we
Do you
tell
guys have questions, thoughts, comments, concerns, safety issues, anything? Bring it to our attention.
Personal anecdotes? I don't know. I guess we'll just open the forum. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, come on up.
Well, the real trick with that was Ksenia Solo lent me her really small underwear, and I would just wear those, and they were so uncomfortable that, everything just came from there. No. That episode was so much fun for all of us because it was like theater school. We were all in the bar because we couldn't leave because of the Fae force field, and we just sat there and really helped each other out. It was, we would read each other's lines for us. I have a video of Ksenia and Anna doing the scene that I did with Mike Cram, who played Bo.
The Southern police officer guy, right?
That's right, the bounty hunter.
The bounty hunter, that's right.
And it was we really just helped each other out. Ksenia would come and she's like, how would you do this if I had to do this? How would you do your claws? And it was so much. I think it was the most fun we've all had together as a group.
Yeah, we don't ever get to spend that much time together on set. We all are in different scenes than each other. So it's rare that we get to sort of spend that much time in one episode together.
The reverb in here is fantastic.
I know.
I feel like Zoe's voice is like
echoing.
The voice of God.
I'm the only one that I didn't really get to copy anybody because I played somebody who wasn't one of us. So I kind of had to make up crazy pants all by myself in that episode. I brought out my inner crazy. Yeah.
Maybe we should pass this thing out into the mic and her.
Out into the mic audience?
The mic.
Yeah.
Okay, here I go again.
There you go. You did?
Okay, I'm going to start back here and come up.
I was just wondering, in the episode where Bo kills Nadia, sorry, spoilers, guys. Do you remember what was going through Lauren's mind when she was witnessing that? Because you did a brilliant job of just expressing so well everything that the audience was feeling, but any specifics you could give us on that would be amazing.
Well, thank you very much. That's kind of you. I remember that scene was a really tough scene to shoot because, especially for the girl playing Nadia, Athena Karkanis, who's a tremendously talented and beautiful actress, she had to kind of really embody all of this stuff, and it took a long time to shoot. So I remember it being a complicated scene. It was really long. It was one of the longest scenes I've shot on the show. And then in terms of character stuff, it was crazy because Lauren actually asks Bo to kill Nadia, which was a great, I think, a great choice on behalf of the writers to have that be the case, that I had to ask her to kill my person, my girlfriend. So I think it was it was a really lovely moment to act because it was a huge swing between I desperately needed her to do this thing, which was going to be devastating at the end of the day. So it was, as an actor, one of those moments that you kind of hope for, that you get to kind of play all of the intricacies of what that might. And then I had to imagine that, which is almost impossible, just about, to imagine that scenario and how one would react to it. And all you can sort of do is be as present and open in the scene for that kind of a scene and just hope that you organically find it. But Yeah, it was a great scene to shoot, but a tough one for sure.
Hi. This question is for Zoie. At the end of season 3, there's a lot of questions about Lauren/Karen, whoever.
Yeah.
And, where is, where's Lauren, which is a hashtag on Twitter now. But
She's here in Texas.
Yeah. But she had that whole scene with Bo where she was telling Bo about how the Fae ruined her life, and
The breakup scene, you mean?
yeah, and thanks for stabbing
Taking
us.
a break, sorry, not
Yeah,
break up.
thanks for stabbing us Docubus fans in the heart again. But she says to Bo, I loved you, past tense, and we assume she's saying all this just to convince Taft that she's on his side. So my question is to you: do you think Lauren really still loves Bo?
Yeah, I mean,
Please.
I think that she does. Yeah, I would say she absolutely does. I don't think that she's in any way a fickle person. I think that she absolutely loves Bo. I think that it has become way more complicated, despite knowing, Lauren always knew that the relationship was going to be tricky, being that she was dating a sex fiend, but, which is difficult in any relationship. But I think that, I think it's that thing when your heart gets as crushed as I think hers did, you try to protect yourself, and I think that Lauren might be in a place right now at the end of the season where, you try to sort of cut something off, and so that you don't feel it for a while. So I think at the end of the day, she for sure is still in love with Bo, but I think she needs to protect herself a little bit. Yeah.
This question is for Kris. So, in a one-on-one fight, who do you think would win, Dyson or Quint from Underworld Awakening?
Lauren. Sorry.
We have it here? Do we have it here?
Well, now that Lauren's learned how to splice DNA, who knows? Sky's the limit for Lauren. I'm sorry to say, Quint's, 20 feet tall, and all Dyson can do is turn into a fuzzy husky. I think Dyson's more charming, and I'd rather spend time with Dyson, but I think Quint would probably step on him and not even know he was there.
This is for Kris. At the end of season 3, we all want to know what happens to Dyson.
What, you mean what happened in the moment?
At the end, we all saw him go off the cliff.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to wait a little while. I mean, what can I tell you? I really, you know what? If I told you right now, with all these video cameras rolling, Jay Firestone and Emily Andres would literally jump me when I got off the plane, and they would just I would literally all of a sudden, they'd spring out of the wall somewhere. Yeah. No comment. Sorry. I wish I could tell you. I wish I knew, actually. We don't really know much right now.
So your girlfriend makes my girlfriend want a girlfriend?
Good for you.
Right. Well, I love the show, but that being awkwardly funny and comfortable, what are some of the funniest and most awkward moments that happen when you guys are doing skin scenes?
Skin scenes. Well, okay. Well, the first skin scene that Anna and I had to do in the pilot, which showed as episode 8 in season 1, was one of our when she'd just come in the door and we were really kind of violently but really passionate with each other. I found myself getting ready to shoot the bed part of that scene with Anna, and we're both in, what can I say? Okay, I wear a little sock or something that contain the junk, and on the junk. And she wears a little patch to contain her beautiful womanliness. And so we're laying there naked, and the scene starts with me on top of her, right? And then we do a rollover. But while we're sitting there waiting for the camera to roll, of course, they're checking makeup guy, dudes all around, adjusting the lights. I'm really naked, except for this little thing. And I look over my shoulder, and I realize that all of Video Village, which is where the director, the producer, the writer, they all sit with their screens to watch what the camera's watching, are right beside my butt, literally. And I'm a skinny guy, so when I'm bent over, I know they have full view of my.
You're what?
of my smile.
Kid me.
And it was one of those moments where I was like, the entire production can see my bumhole right now. And I'm supposed to feel sexy about this. Yeah, not working. You?
I love your bumhole. I don't know. Sex scenes are always funny, and they're always a little bit different. Like, they're never the same, and I don't know. I don't really ever get totally used to them. It's always the first few minutes are a little awkward because they have a robe. There's always the costume designer or the person on set who's in charge of wardrobe is there to sort of put a robe on you immediately as soon as they say cut. So there's always that moment where you're scrambling, and anytime you try to put anything on quickly, like my leg goes through the armhole, and it's just a gong show. But for me, the thing that I always think about is whenever you're on top, because girls, what they do on set for sex scenes is they just put little pasties on. So you just have little, and they just cover so little. And then you have to hang over whoever you're doing, and everything just hangs like this. And so if they shoot you like that, it's the least attractive visual ever, because they're just hanging there. There's nothing to keep anything in. Right? Like, and I'm not so that's what I'm left with. And now that's what you're left with.
Hi, speaking for all of us regular people in the world, we look at you actors and actresses and think, wow, they're so fit. What are they doing? Can you talk about what is your lifestyle like? I mean, are you just eating, bean sprouts and do you work out every day? Is that part of your job? Like, I get up in the morning and I go to gym for 3 hours every day. I mean, how do you do it?
I actually don't like the gym at all. I hate it. I would much rather do like a sport or something than go and run on a treadmill. So I don't do that sort of thing. I don't work out a ton. But you. No, but my mother had pretty good arms, and I think I just got the rest of me's a shit show. But I did okay. I did all right. That's how I show them. You?
I was pretty lucky. My mom had like a six-pack without ever working out until she was like 50, and I did a lot of sports as a young man. So my body just kind of remembers that. And so for me, I swim a lot. I do like simple weights, but it's all about just watching what you eat. Don't eat a lot of sugar. Don't eat a lot of crap. Be healthy. That's about it.
Okay. So I want to first say that The Untitled Works of Paul Shepard is one of my favorite movies.
Thank you.
And I haven't seen Sex After Kids yet, but I can't wait to see it. I was wondering if you have any other projects with both of you coming up besides Last Girl Season 4?
Well, we both did, Sex After Kids is a film we did with Jeremy Lalonde, who did Paul Shepard, and they're looking for an American distributor right now. That's right. He's written a new one, which we're taking a look at, and we're not sure how it's going to come together. I did a film in the fall called The Returned, which some of you may have seen the Spanish trailer, Le Retornado, where my Spanish is fantastic, I must say. It's kind of a tragic love story set in a sort of post-apocalyptic world, but that'll be out. I think they're festivaling this fall, so probably an early winter release. And besides that, Lost Girl is coming up in a week and a half.
Yeah, that's kind of it. Once Lost Girl gets started, there's not a lot of time to do anything. So going to the bathroom, you just have to do it in your pants. I know I did a movie called I don't know. Sorry, I don't know why I said that. I did a movie called Cold Blooded about a year and a half ago, which is doing the festival circuit as well. And then we did Sex After Kids, and again back to Lost Girl in a week. So. Oh, I did a movie called Patchtown. That's right. Which is a crazy fun little movie that it did really well at Cannes and TIFF. They did a short version of it, and then they developed it into a feature-length film. And I think that's doing the festival circuit now, too. That's right. I forgot I did that movie. Thanks, man.
Okay, this is for Kris. Maybe.
I just said, be careful, there's no banister here, so watch what your legs are doing.
Well, that...
I love that you whispered it to me and then announced it, though. Everyone can see everything.
Well, I'm a horrible secret keeper. Actually, no, I'm a good secret keeper. But anyway.
Well, this is a perfect segue. I was the one who took your picture last night when you were bent over.
Crack.
And I just wanted to let you know, in case you were worried, I did not get a picture of your butt crack.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I actually was thinking about that this morning. I'm like, God damn it. You never know when someone's going to take a picture of you these days. Yes, young lady in the front. Take your time. It's all good. This is.
Who's there? Okay, I'm going over here. I'm going over here. All right.
Susie, your arms are going to get tired very soon.
My question was about episode 8 of the first season, which I know was the pilot.
That's right.
But it looks like most of the scenes with Bo and Lauren might have been filmed much later, because Anna's hair is a lot longer in those scenes.
Excellent observation.
And I was just wondering, was the pilot like short and they had to add those later, or were scenes replaced, or why were those filmed later?
There was a problem with the film when we originally shot it, and we had to replace the footage. We did some reshoots.
So good eye. Yeah.
But those scenes were originally in the pilot. They just had to be reshot. Thank you. That's been killing me.
Really good eye.
If you guys could do a crossover with any other show, what would it be?
I would want to do, it's not even, I don't even think they shoot it anymore, but Torchwood. Right? Amazing show. I love that show. I would love to be on that show. Have you ever seen Torchwood? No. Oh, you should. Go now. Go. Bye. Go see Torchwood. So for me, I really liked it.
Wow, I'm really horrible at watching TV. I love Game of Thrones, but I think, I don't know, I just met Patrick Stewart, so I'm thinking Star Trek, you know? Like, yeah. There's very few shows that have affected, like Star Trek Next Generation, I think I've watched 70 hours of that, and like I keep watching it. I have a 5-year-old kid, and I'm like, that's one of the shows, I'm like, you're gonna watch this at some point, kid. I hope you like space. You know, it's just such a forward-thinking show, you know. It has so many amazing things talking about society and, you know, philosophy and space and future and time and all that fun stuff. Anyway.
This is for Kris. When you did Underworld, how did you get into the role as the Lycan or whatever? Like, because you go from the wolf on Lost Girl to that role, so how did it correlate to getting that position?
That's a cool question. It was the accent helped a lot. I could really step out of Dyson and create something different. Funny thing about that was the two directors was a Swedish team, and they had no idea about Lost Girl. So when I did the audition, I just kind of did a wolf out for them, and they're like, "Oh my God, that is so good," you know. And they booked me like right on the spot, and then. You know, Quint, originally the script of Underworld 4 was a really great little story, but when they decided to make it 3D, they really cut out a lot of the story and a lot of the scenes that my character had and replaced them with like things flying out of the screen, which I thought was a real drag because the original script was great. So when it came to shoot, I had very little to really hold on to. You know, I was just this kind of brooding guy, and there was only really one scene that I talked about, like my mother, and that's it I had for character arc. Yeah. So it wasn't that hard. I mean, I just had to kind of go into the more vicious side of myself and like put that into Quint and not even think about Dyson except for the wolfy outy parts.
So this is for both of you. What would be the hardest character you ever had to play?
Yeah, do you know?
No, but I'm just going to think out loud. It's going to be like verbal diarrhea. We're really classy folks. I think I played Wayne Gretzky in the Walter Gretzky story. And I think, I didn't grow up playing hockey. I grew up in a totally different sporting sort of world. So I had to learn to skate like quite well. And then it was just also the responsibility of playing, you know, this very iconic Canadian figure. And I remember there was this one scene, it was his retirement skate, and we were shooting it at the Rex Hall in Edmonton, where the Edmonton Oilers used to be based. And they had 3,000 volunteer extras come in for this scene. And all of these people had been there for the original scene, and they were so invested, and they were reliving this incredible moment for themselves. And I'm out on the skate in the rink, and I felt like such an imposter. I'm like, I'm just this Canadian actor, and like they're giving so much love. And it was a real lesson to me of like, I have to step up and be here for these people who are reliving this moment. And it was so emotionally powerful. Like when I got back to my trailer, I remember I was really overwhelmed with feelings of like just not being worthy of it, that I was an imposter, and it was a really humbling and lovely experience of being able to be there for the people who you're making something for. And it was a great lesson to me as an artist that sometimes you're just a conduit for other people's feelings and emotions. And I think that was it for me.
Do you need a hug? Actually, now that he says that, I did a movie actually really early on in my career where I played Patty Davis, which is Ronald Reagan's daughter. And similarly, just doing a part where you're playing somebody who's first of all a real person, who's alive and very, very likely will watch it. And it was really early on in my career, so I felt too a lot of responsibility to kind of make sure that I watched videos of her, and I read books. She's written books, and she's had quite a life, Patty Davis. So to have to play somebody, and then I was doing the movie with James Brolin and Judy Davis, who are both so amazingly talented, that I think roles like that where you have to play somebody real is harder, because there's not a wrong way to do it if you're playing a character. You know, there's a boring way to do it, or an interest bad, but there's not a wrong way necessarily. Whereas when you're playing a real person who's alive, you're accountable to the people that know and love them, and to them. So probably that character, yeah.
This question is for Zoie. I know that acting comes from within and is sometimes an extension of your personality. And as a Scorpio, do you feel that you have more fun playing a dark, rebellious punk rocker, Patsy Sewer, or the dark, mysterious, and sexy Dr. Lauren Lewis, a.k.a. Karen Beatty?
I definitely like people who have edge, for sure. I like to play characters that have edge, and I like to play characters where you're not sure necessarily whether they're, the first season of Lost Girl, we weren't sure whether Lauren was a good or a bad person, and I really had a lot of fun with that. It's great to play those characters. But as I'm getting a little bit older, I'm starting to find it more interesting to play characters that have a little more fun and take themselves a little less seriously. So I'm just starting to turn a bit of a corner in that way, that like acting, I think for a lot of people when you first start out is a way to express whatever's going on for you, and as you get older, the artistry of it I think comes in a little more. And now I'm more interested in playing characters that are less like me than more like me, I think. Yeah.
Hi. Where do you feel or want your characters to go in the 4th season, and how do you feel that Tamsin might play as a interference to both of your characters' interests?
I'm surprised you're letting me.
Assuming everyone's alive.
Who? She must die. She must die yesterday. I don't know, I kind of love that Tamsin's around, actually. I really, really do. First of all, I think Rachel does a fantastic job of playing her, and it brings a whole new dimension to the show. I think she's got a great vibe, and I don't know, as far as where Lauren's going to go, every season I think I know, and I'm never right. They do a really great job of figuring out new stuff for us to play, so I think it'll be interesting to see. I wish I knew, because we don't have the scripts yet. We don't really know what's happening, but in terms of that character, I think that the more the merrier. Bring them on, I think it's great.
Yeah, I totally agree. Rachel's been so fun to work with. Her and I are like, I found my goofy twin on set. We literally bump into stuff or each other all the time. We are so not doing it. As far as honestly, with like Zoe said, the writers do such a great job of always surprising us. So I always kind of like the idea of, you know, the love triangle like consummating itself, but apparently that's a little too forward thinking for our producers. So I don't know, I'll probably still be pining after Bo and, you know, keeping it secret, of course, being dour and really stoic. But I'm sure they'll find some ways of getting me to step out of my comfort zone too. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't know. And as far as Rachel, she's a little bit of salsa on top of it all. She's a little bam, you know. So we'll see what happens. That was a totally roundabout way of not saying anything. So sorry about that.
Hi, I had a question. I've always had this fascination with the living wall in Dr. Lawrence's apartment. Yeah. Does it smell?
We like to roll around naked on that wall, actually, after. It's how we kind of chill ourselves out at the end of a long shoot day. So yeah, it smells horrible.
I don't actually think I've ever smelled it. Believe it or not. My apartment is so crazy because there's like pictures of women making out with each other, and like every time I go in there and I'm like, do people have this stuff on their walls normally? Is this usual? And then a huge wall of grass, and like I love the apartment. I think it's awesome, but it's very specific to my character. They really.
Some fan, I think, came up with the idea that the original Ash, who was sort of botanical in his qualities, is actually in that wall thing, kind of like Han Solo's in the carbonite, you know? Yeah. Yeah, I thought that would be pretty fun too. Like a dude who hasn't washed in 3 seasons.
Okay, hi, big fan, by the way. I wanted to know, is there a dream role, say in a book or a comic book, or a role that's already been portrayed that you were like, oh man, I really wish I could do this or be this character?
There's been few over the years, I guess. But because there's such painful things to think about, I usually forget about them quickly. Curse you, Brad Pitt, for Legends of the Fall, or curse you, that fella that I don't even know your name who plays in Game of Thrones, plays Lannister, Jamie Lannister. Who is that actor, by the way? Anyone know? Nicholas? Yeah, that guy. Can you guys go get him? Rub him out? No, he does a great job, and he's got a far better chin for that role than I do. So, I mean, I'm totally wrong for it, but I always loved Wolverine growing up, you know. You're not wrong for that. I'm a blonde, fuzzy guy. Come on. He's supposed to be 5'2". Yeah. But I think Hugh does a great job as well. So I don't know. There's been a lot. It's hard to pin it down. But yeah, I like superheroes and stuff like that. So. Green Arrow. That was one I wanted to do.
Oh yeah.
Right
it's a little obscure, but there was a movie that Claire Danes did not long ago called Temple Grandin. Did anybody see that? And I mean, she did such a beautiful, brilliant, layered, complicated performance that I wouldn't even nearly want to touch it. But that role was such a fantastic role. And then the character that it's based on, who is obviously, she's a real person who's autistic. And you can like YouTube her, Temple Grandin. She's this extraordinary woman who couldn't talk for the longest time growing up. And her mother, who relentlessly believed in her when everybody said this girl is not going to amount to anything, worked with her and worked with her and worked with her, and she's become a brilliant woman in life and has autism. And Claire Danes played her in Temple Grandin, and I would have loved to have played that character, like a really interesting human being, and she brought such dignity and empathy and to that portrayal. So stuff like that, I think, yeah, something like that.
In the episode of Lost Girl where everybody switched bodies, how fun was that episode to do, or what did you do to get into each other's characters?
I just got drunk. No, I didn't. Well, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I didn't get the opportunity to study anybody. The guy who I was playing, he only did a few minutes of a scene, like I don't even think it was it was like a minute of a scene that I sort of had to then take what I saw from him and create Reynard. And it was one of the more challenging things I've had to do because just, you know, it was really out there. The character was so out there, and I really had to abandon any sense of being self-conscious and just being self-aware and just go for it. And it was one of those characters that you just have to, you really have to check your ego at the door, and when they say action, you have to go 1,000%. And so, you know, I can't really watch it, to be honest with you. It makes me want to sort of kill myself, but it was a good challenge. Yeah.
And I was the opposite. I had so much great footage and Ksenia to work with. It was, you know, and Ksenia, she's fantastic. I would go over to her apartment, and her mom would film us, and we would swap roles back and forth, and you know, she would give me little tips, and then I would just watch her body language, you know, like how she always kind of tucks up. She's like a little cat. She'll like kneel on the bar, and you know, it's kind of awkward to get my 6'2" frame kneeling on those little bar stools, but I think it worked out well, and you know, cheers to Ksenia. She helped me a ton.
Obviously, you're sitting here in just day-to-day clothes, but your costuming in the show is so fantastic, and so I'm curious how comfortable you guys are in that, and how much control you have over that, and how you like the costuming or don't like it, what you would change.
Well, I mean, the real costume designer of the show, the woman who started is Ann Dixon, and she had a great vision, you know. She would build a lot of things custom, but she was also very, you know, she would listen to us when we would talk about what we thought about our characters, or like when I needed something for a fight sequence, and, you know, she's got me in something way too tight, she would really adapt it so that I could move. Or when we did the flashback scenes, you know, she was great. We built a whole look about where these guys had come from, and, you know, it was a sort of mixed genre thing. It wasn't really authentic old world. It was sort of like fade up. But she had this great gift of bringing, you know, this sort of supernatural to historical pieces. And like all the vests that Dyson wear, they're all custom made, that she designed them. And then she has a great bunch of seamstresses that work together and build. And now our new Noreen Landry, she's really taken it to another level. She's brought a little more elegance, a little more fashion into it, and I know that Zoe, for one, has appreciated that.
Yeah, you know, it's fun. I mean, Ann Dixon is there aren't enough words. She's such an extraordinary costume designer. And they're really lovely about, you know, taking our preferences into account. You know, there's no sort of militant, you must wear this. Everybody, if there's something that is not feeling right or it's not feeling the character, you're welcome to kind of bring it up. And they're really great about that. And then Noreen, because she's just a different human being, has brought some other vibe to it. And it's been kind of fun to get that too, you know, to get another kind of bunch of outfits that Lauren can wear.
Hi. I'm new to Lost Girl. I actually just consumed the last 3 seasons in the last 2 weeks.
You ate them?
So I really enjoy the show. Actually, I have a really interesting question. You might get it a lot. But seeing the show, I realized, how do you guys manage to be so hot? Like, you guys are just hot all the time. Like both of you. You just glorious. So I was wondering, do you guys get that question a lot?
Bumhole, diarrhea. That's what we have. Yep.
Thanks. No, I'll give it all up to lighting, good makeup, good hair, and good costumes. Like, honestly, we're so well taken care of. People are like, you guys look so great. It's like, yeah, because we have a team of awesome professionals to make us look that way. Yeah, you know, and then we have, you know, David Green, who is a brilliant cinematographer, and he puts us in these really soft, warm lights that make any blemish disappear. Like, yeah. I was actually watching, because I'm catching up on the episodes to make sure that I'm prepped for this season, and I was looking, I was going, damn, we look pretty good. And then I look in the mirror, I'm like, wow, gotta love showbiz.
Yeah, lighting is pretty much everything. The lighting in this convention does nothing for anybody. You're out there, it's like a grocery store. It's just like, Jesus, there's everything.
So I also have been recently binge watching on Netflix, and especially somebody here in Texas where we have such a Texas identity,
the ideas that you guys play with is it Canada? Is it America? Is it Amsterdam? So what city do you guys think Lost Girl is set in?
It's in your city. I don't know. What city is it in?
It's actually in Des Moines.
Really? Okay.
Baton Rouge, maybe. I'm not sure.
Okay, we'll go with that.
So, how long does it take y'all to prepare for the episode with your lines and stuff like that? What do y'all have to do?
We have earpieces?
Shooting a TV series is fast. So as soon as we're finished shooting an episode, we do a read-through on the lunch, usually for the next episode. So one lunch per episode is dedicated to a read-through of the next episode, and then we shoot it. So it's fast. It's really quick. So you kind of have to have your character down and get your lines down, and you go. Yeah, it's quick. It's not like a movie at all.
I have a question. Whoa, sorry. I'm not expecting that to be so loud. This one's for Zoe. I just wanted to know, you said you got surprises with Lauren's backstory, and you said that it kind of affected the way some of the decisions you made with acting with her and how she was portrayed early on. Is there anything you would go back and maybe change if you had the privilege of her backstory from the beginning?
Yeah, there was. I mean, I don't even know if I can be specific, but there's a couple of moments where I would say a line, and I wasn't sure really how to say it because I didn't know the intention behind it, which is kind of everything as an actor. Your intention, what you want out of your scene partner, and what you want. Your objective is sort of everything. And there was a couple of moments where I was unclear, mostly in the first season, when I didn't know if she really loved Beau or if it all was just a ploy, or where her loyalties lie, if she was really sort of working for the Ash, or I had no answers to any of those questions. But I think it worked out okay. I think I had to play stuff really on a line a lot. I really had to play stuff in a way that if anything was revealed, it was fine that I sort of said it that way, or, there was a lot of that going on. But she's a lot clearer now to me, the character. She's still sort of mysterious, but I think we understand that she is inherently good, and she has Beau's best interests at heart now. I think we know that, unless something changes, which it could. I don't know.
Yes, this question's for Kris. And I was just wondering, what's it like for you to do a scene and just be growling and all that stuff, and then come back maybe, a few weeks later, and you see yourself on screen and you see that really cool lighting effect on your eyes and then the roar they add to it. What's that like for you?
I'm like, thank God for CGI, because honestly, when I do it, sometimes you just feel like I'm a monkey out there. You're just like, you're just hoping that it looks good, right? No, I can't do it right now, because there's no CGI person here. I know, you are. Thank you, Zoe. Yeah, when you see it all come together, it's great. When you're doing it on the day, you just trust that you're like, it's all energy. You're just like trying to get your energy into the superhuman energy zone, and you hope it translates, and usually, thank goodness it does. The reason why I can't do it right now is I kind of have to go pee, and if I did that, I'd probably, I'd just lose control of my bodily functions. That's part of my process is doing Dyson. So, yeah, just would be ugly up here. Anyway, next question.
Yes. This question's for Zoe. We've heard the story that Jay Firestone tells about Kris's audition, so we know what scene he did. There's 4 scenes in the pilot with you and Beau. Which one of those was your audition scene?
We did the one in the bar in the pilot episode, and when I very first examine her, where I say, "My God, you're beautiful." So that was in the audition. I think there may have been a third one, I can't remember, but definitely those 2, when I first sort of examined her for the very first time. And I think I did 3. There was one, just a regular audition, then a callback, and then a screen test with Anna to see if we sort of had anything, between us that translated as chemistry. And I think we did those scenes. And Anna and I knew each other beforehand, like not well. We weren't friends, but we had known each other just from the industry. So it was nice to be in an audition with somebody that you sort of have a connection with already. We were friendly at that time, so yeah.
Is there any blooper material you would like to share with us?
There's always blooper material.
Yeah.
I think they did a blooper reel for season 2, which I think is out on the web, right? Find it. And unfortunately, they haven't made one for season 3 yet.
No, they probably will.
Yeah.
There's always bloopers. We don't do one scene. I don't think there's a scene I've shot where we haven't messed up at least once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're either falling down, bumping into each other, something's not right.
Sex scenes have a lot of wardrobe mishaps, often, where you show too much or the camera catches the side of the pasty. There's a lot of those moments where you're strategically trying to make out with somebody, but place your arms in such a way that it's like insane. It's nothing normal about it. So there's a lot of wardrobe malfunctions for sex scenes. And then where anyway. And there was that one once.
I don't know. No, I'm good.
Okay,
you covered it.
My question is, if you could choose what mythical creature you want to play, what would you play? And Kris, would you still want to play a werewolf?
What fake creature would you want to be? And would I want to still be a wolf? Yeah, you know what? I love doing the wolf. It's great. Yeah. To tap into that animal side and have used that as a character springboard, I guess. It's Dyson's been really a blast to play. I wouldn't really change him, except for get a better wolf. Well, yeah, our wolf is it's a little. I want a real wolf. I mean, that's my only complaint about my character. Yeah, I want a real wolf.
Okay.
We have time for 2 more questions.
Vex.
Yeah, could you talk about the other cast members, like Anna and the other ones, what they're like in real life?
Well, I mean, we're so fortunate. We're really good pals on the show, and everybody's really lovely to work with. And Anna leads the team, and she's probably the single most lovely, kind, thoughtful, generous, charming person you'd ever want to work with. She's the lead of a really popular show, and she's probably the most humble human being I've ever met. She really is. She's pretty grounded and lovely. So yeah, I mean, in terms of Anna, she's extraordinary. Everybody's.
Anna is from Cape Breton, is that right? Fredericton. And she told me that when she was growing up, sort of something that was in the community or her family would say is, strangers are just friends that you don't know yet. And that's just so sweet. And she's managed to bring this with her all the way along. And yeah, that's Anna. And all the way down, I don't know, we're so lucky on our show, from even our execs and stuff like this. Jay is as kooky and crazy as he is, his heart is so into the show, and that's just such a gift to have the person who's running it really believe in it. Straight down our writers, Ian Brock, amazing production designer, and all of our actors. I mean, we're all really close friends now, and that's rare, and I think it also helps our show. It's all about chemistry, right? And we're very lucky to have great chemistry between everybody on the show.
I say it over and over again, but we have the single best fans in the world.
Absolutely.
They're extraordinary. They're passionate, they're invested, they're involved, and they have brought us to where we are, and we couldn't have done it without the people that tune in every single week. And I speak on behalf of everybody. We're grateful, so thank you for that.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the end. We have this last question.
It better be the best question of the day.
I know.
Go.
I told her, no pressure, no pressure.
Merchandise. There is no merchandise online to buy for Lost Girl. No t-shirts, no jewelry, no dolls. Do you know anything about that coming up?
I have no information on it. I mean, I guess that's sort of something the producers have to do. Do you know anything?
I don't either. I would say, is Jay on Twitter? Do you know? I would say email law schools because I know Jay Firestone is very interested in that world, you know, and I know he wants to do stuff. He played around with a little sort of mobile game this year, the Law School app. But I know he wants to continue. He wants to brand it, and he potentially will do a feature film down the road. I don't know, but yeah, put that out there, and
we'll mention it.
Yeah,
We'll mention it.
it's awesome.
That's it. Thank you very
And
much.
thank you guys so much. You guys rock. Honestly, best band.